Previously on Mira Wealth Stories. Raymond fought fiercely for his rights and inheritance. Linda refused to back down. She fought just as hard. Two sides. One battle. Only one winner. Who won? Who lost everything? This episode reveals it all. Raymond sat alone on the edge of the couch, the envelope resting in his hands like something sacred. For a long moment, he didn't open it. His father's handwriting felt too real, too final. Mrs. Turner gave him space, quietly moving into the kitchen. The apartment fell silent except for the ticking clock on the wall, the same clock that used to mark time when Raymond was a boy doing homework at the table. He took a deep breath and slid his finger under the seal. Inside was a single folded letter. He opened it slowly. My son. If you are reading this, it means I didn't get the chance to say goodbye properly. And for that, I am sorry. Raymond's vision blurred instantly. I know Linda made things difficult between us. I allowed peace to become silence, and silence to become distance. That is my regret. Not you. Never you. Raymond pressed his lips together, fighting tears. I should have fought harder. I should have spoken louder. I should have protected you the way your mother would have. He paused, breath unsteady. I want you to know something very clearly. You were never replaced. Raymond's hands trembled. Everything I did, every decision, was with the hope that one day you would understand. But I see now that understanding without truth is just confusion. He wiped his face and kept reading. There are things Linda does not want you to know. About my health. About my finances. About my will. Raymond's heart began to pound. I changed my will last year. Quietly. I left it with my attorney, not in the house. Raymond inhaled sharply. What I left you is not just money. It is proof. His jaw tightened. You are my son. My only son. No matter what anyone tells you. The letter ended with one final line. Do not let anyone erase you. Raymond folded the letter slowly and held it against his chest. So this was why Linda acted the way she did. The rushed funeral. The locked doors. The cold dismissal. She wasn't just grieving. She was hiding. Mrs. Turner returned and sat across from him. She didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. She knows about the will, Raymond said quietly. Mrs. Turner nodded. That woman doesn't fear grief. She fears exposure. Raymond stood up, his posture different now, straighter. I need to see a lawyer, he said. I know one, Mrs. Turner replied. Good man. Honest. Helped your mother once. Raymond felt a strange calm settle over him. This wasn't just about money. It was about dignity. It was about being denied the right to mourn his own father. And Linda had made one fatal mistake. She assumed Raymond would disappear quietly. That evening, Raymond drove past the cemetery. He didn't stop. He couldn't. Not yet. Because he knew now, his father hadn't been buried with all his truth. And until that truth came to light, Raymond wouldn't rest. The next morning, Raymond returned to his father's house. Not to argue. Not to beg. But to collect what was rightfully his. He parked across the street this time, watching the house quietly. Curtains were drawn. The SUV was gone. The place looked sealed, like a decision already made. Raymond walked up the steps and tried the door. Locked. He knocked. No answer. He knocked again. Harder. The door opened just enough for Linda's face to appear. What do you want? She asked sharply. I'm here to pick up my father's personal things, Raymond said calmly. His watch. His journals. His photos. You're not entitled to anything, Linda replied. This is my house. Raymond met her eyes. It's my father's estate. She laughed. You don't even know what you're talking about. I know enough, Raymond said. And I'm done asking. Linda's smile faded. You're causing trouble. No, Raymond replied. You caused it when you locked me out of my own grief. She opened the door wider now, stepping outside. People are watching, she hissed. Do you want a scene? Raymond glanced around. A neighbor across the street had paused mid-step. Another stood by a mailbox, listening too closely. Good, Raymond said. Let them. Linda's eyes narrowed. Your father didn't want drama. He wanted truth, Raymond said. And you denied him that. She scoffed. You weren't there. That's because you made sure of it. Silence stretched between them. Then Raymond said something that made her flinch. I know about the will. Her breath caught, just for a second, but it was enough. You don't know anything, she snapped quickly. I know he changed it, Raymond continued, and I know it's not in this house. Linda's face hardened completely. You think a piece of paper gives you power, she said. You should have stayed gone. Raymond leaned closer. You should have let me bury my father. Linda's voice rose. You don't get to accuse me. A neighbor stepped closer. Everything okay? The woman asked cautiously. Linda forced a smile. Family disagreement. Raymond shook his head. No. This is exclusion. Linda turned on him. You are not welcome here. Raymond nodded slowly. Then you won't mind hearing from my lawyer. Her smile disappeared. You wouldn't dare, she said. Raymond stepped back from the porch. I already have, he replied. Linda stood frozen as he walked away. That afternoon, Raymond sat in a quiet law office downtown. Across from him was Mr. Daniels, gray-haired, sharp-eyed, and calm. She buried your father without notifying next of kin, he said after listening carefully. That's serious. She denied me access, Raymond added. Completely. Mr. Daniels nodded. And if the will confirms what you believe? Then she knew, Raymond said, and acted anyway. Mr. Daniels closed the file. That's not just immoral. That's actionable. Raymond exhaled for the first time all day. Good, he said. That night, Raymond stood outside the cemetery gates. The sun was setting. The air was quiet. He placed his hand on the iron bars. I'm coming, he whispered. I promise. Behind him, the city moved on like nothing had happened. But Raymond knew something important had begun. Linda had locked him out of mourning. But she had opened the door to consequences. Raymond didn't see his father's funeral in person. He saw it on a phone screen. It was late that night when the video appeared, shared in a private family group chat he hadn't even known existed. Someone had added him by mistake, or maybe by conscience. The video was short. Too short for a goodbye. Rows of black chairs. A cloudy sky. A priest speaking words Raymond couldn't hear clearly. And at the front, his father's casket. Closed. Raymond stared at the screen, his chest tightening with every second. That was it. That was how his father was sent away. No son beside him. No final prayer whispered privately. No hand resting on the wood, saying thank you. He watched Linda step forward in the video, composed, controlled, dressed like a grieving widow who had rehearsed her sorrow. She dabbed her eyes. She nodded at the right moments. People gathered around her afterward, hugged her, praised her strength. Raymond turned the phone face down. His hands shook. He stood up and walked to the window of his hotel room, staring out at the city lights. Cars moved. People laughed somewhere below. Life continued without permission. His father's life had ended, and Raymond hadn't been allowed to stand there. The pain finally hit him then. Not loud. Not dramatic. It came quietly, like something collapsing inward. He sank onto the bed and covered his face. I'm sorry, he whispered. I should have come sooner. He remembered the last time he spoke to his father. Take care of yourself, son. I always do, Dad. He hadn't known that was almost goodbye. The next morning, Raymond woke to missed calls. cousins, an aunt, a former co-worker of his father's. One message stood out. Aunt Renee, I didn't know Linda didn't tell you. If I had known, this wasn't right. Another message followed. Cousin Jamal, man, people were asking where you were. She told them you couldn't make it. Raymond closed his eyes. So she had lied. Not just to him, but about him. He called Jamal back. She said you were busy, Jamal continued. Said you and your dad weren't close anymore. Raymond laughed once, empty and bitter. She rewrote history, he said. That's not sitting well with some folks, Jamal replied. People noticed. Raymond hung up and sat quietly. Linda thought burying the truth with the body would protect her. But funerals had a way of revealing things. By afternoon, word had spread. Questions were being asked. Why wasn't the son there? Why was the service so rushed? Why wasn't the family informed properly? Grief turned into suspicion. And suspicion has weight. Raymond drove back to the cemetery later that day. This time, he walked in. No ceremony. No audience. Just him. He stood before the fresh earth and knelt slowly. I wasn't there, he said softly. But I'm here now. The wind moved gently through the trees. I'll fix what I can, he continued. And I won't let her pretend I never existed. Raymond stood up. Grief still lived in him. But now, it shared space with resolve. Linda had won the funeral. But she was about to lose control of the story. The days after the funeral were quieter than Raymond expected. Not peaceful, just heavy. People didn't call to offer comfort anymore. They called to ask questions. He was sitting in his hotel room when his phone rang again. This time, it was a number he recognized but hadn't seen in years. Raymond, the voice said carefully. This is Calvin Brooks. I worked with your dad. Raymond sat up. Mr. Brooks. Yes. I remember you. Good man, your father, Calvin said. Fair. Careful. Always prepared. Raymond smiled faintly. He was. There was a pause. I wasn't sure whether to call, Calvin continued. But something about the funeral didn't sit right with me. Raymond's jaw tightened. You noticed too? I noticed your absence, Calvin said. And Richard would never exclude his son. Never. Raymond felt his throat tighten. Thank you for saying that. Calvin sighed. There's more. Raymond straightened. Go on. Your father updated some beneficiary records last year, Calvin said. Health insurance, retirement paperwork. He listed you clearly. As next of kin. Raymond closed his eyes. Linda told everyone I was distant. That's not what his paperwork said, Calvin replied. And that's not what his mouth said either. Raymond exhaled slowly. So she lied, he said. Yes, Calvin replied. And she rushed things. That usually means someone is afraid of something catching up to them. After the call ended, Raymond sat still. One lie could be explained. But patterns couldn't. Later that evening, Raymond met his Aunt Renee at a quiet cafe. She looked tired. Older than he remembered. I didn't fight her, she said as soon as they sat down. And I regret that. Raymond shook his head. You didn't know. I knew enough, she said softly. Linda told us the service had to be quick. Said Richard didn't want complications. Raymond raised an eyebrow. Complications like me? Renee nodded slowly. Yes. She reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. There's something else, she said. Your father called me the week before he died. Raymond leaned forward. What did he say? He asked me if I thought you'd forgive him, she replied, for letting things go quiet. Raymond swallowed. He said Linda didn't like your name coming up, Renee continued. Said it caused arguments. Raymond looked away. His anger was steady now, not explosive, but clear. She managed him, he said. Until the end. Renee nodded. And she underestimated one thing. Raymond met her eyes. What's that? She thought you'd stay gone, Renee said. She didn't expect you to come back asking questions. Raymond leaned back in his chair. Linda had controlled the funeral. But she hadn't controlled memory. And memory, once shared, had momentum. That night, Raymond forwarded every message, every call detail, every statement to Mr. Daniels. Let's watch out for the next episode. Raymond fought fiercely for his rights and inheritance. Linda refused to back down. She fought just as hard. Who won? Who lost everything? The next episode will reveal it all. Subscribe to Mira Wealth Stories for more powerful and emotional stories. Like, comment, share, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any episode. Thank you for watching.